What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am bringing you guys a sort of how to play Madolche post Magnificent Mavens. And yeah, I had quite a few requests for this. I did just win a local tournament with Madolche, and it was this exact variant. So if you want to check out the winning deck profile, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But yeah, a lot of people ask me how to play the deck because it still runs like the same Madolche combo that's been popular ever since Pettingcessor came out. But with the new cards, you could definitely get some more interesting hands, and the Vernusylphs really added a whole new layer to how the deck combos. And recently, we just had YCS, the one in Europe, I forgot what it's called, Dortmund. And Madolche was quite a popular pick there. I don't know how many people were there, but it was on stream twice, I believe. And those builds were not exactly what I would call like the most ideal builds, and a lot of them didn't pilot it to an amazing level as well. So I'm going to try and show you guys more of the standard version with the build I won with, and yeah, hopefully you guys will learn how to play Madolche off of this. So we're just going to shuffle the deck here. Before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know, Discord link down below along with all of our other social media links. Also, if you do enjoy this type of Yu-Gi-Oh content and you like what you see here, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me out in what I do here on the channel. And without further ado, let's draw our first hand. So we're going to draw a Raw Sphere Mode, which we do main deck, a Misting Seedlings, which I just call the Duck, one Mudora, another Sphere Mode, and a Fenrir. So this hand is actually really strong. So going first, it's strong. Going second, we have Sphere Mode and Fenrir. Going second would have had a Prosperity, which is pretty solid because that means we'll be able to go Madolche combo as long as we see Prosperity that sees the starter. But yeah, going first is fantastic because we do have ways to also repurpose the Sphere Modes with our Vernusylph. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with Fenrir. Then we're going to activate Fenrir's effect to search another copy of himself, which can be really good when you run the Vernusylph package because it usually gives you more fodder for your Vernusylphs, and also that your Vernusylphs can bring back Fenrir from the grave, which is pretty huge. Then we'll go ahead and we'll activate our Duck, discarding, well, there's actually two different routes we can take. We can discard the Mudora to get it in grave in case we're playing against tier elements, which if you're playing against tier elements, you want to do that before your Fenrir search to play around Hovness a little bit. But I'm just going to discard the Sphere Mode instead, and we're going to go ahead and add to our hand Madolche and Jelly. And then the Duck can choose to special summon himself, but I don't really see a need to do that, so I'm not going to special summon with the Duck. If you have other Vernusylphs here, you can go for a lot more like plays that give you more extension and whatnot, but we're just going to summon the Angeli, and then we're going to do the very standard Madolche one-card combo, which this is one of like the most important things to see, and if you don't know how to play Madolche already, is seeing what the one-card combo actually gets you. So we're going to have our one starter here, and we're going to activate Angeli, and this works if you open Pettingcessor, if you open Angeli, and even ways when you open Hoot Cake as well. So Angeli is going to go ahead and summon Pettingcessor from our deck. We're going to activate the Pettingcessor, which is going to allow us to special a Madolche monster from our deck. In this case, it is going to be Puttingcess, and then it lowers its level by 1, which is really nice because now Puttingcess is level 4. So we can overlay these into our Glass Souffle. All right, and then once we have Glass Souffle, you need 2 Madolche monsters in your graveyard, I find, to actually do the full combo. So we are going to have to activate the Glass Souffle, detaching the Pettingcessor. We want to make sure it's not the Puttingcess because you need her as the material. And then we're going to overlay a Chocolate a la Mode on top of our Glass Souffle. I usually put it in the EMZ because I usually link it off. You can technically link something off later at the end of the combo instead of her, but most of the time I find she's the best one to link off. Then we'll activate her effect. We're going to target the Pettingcessor to shuffle it back to deck, and then we'll activate her other effect, detaching Glass Souffle to special a Madolche monster from our deck. And at this point, we are going to special summon the Hoot Cake. I'll put it in the middle zone. You want your Sistart at the end of your combo to point to something, so it needs to either be in the middle, far left, or far right. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the Hoot Cake, and we can just banish our Sphere Mode. We have one in hand already, so it's not even like we need to recycle it from the graveyard. And Hoot Cake is going to add, or special summon, excuse me, our Messin Gelato. Messin Gelato's effect will activate, and we will add Chateau from our deck to our hand. Now, Chateau is very important because it is the second way we are going to be able to proc our chocolate, so we're going to go ahead and activate the Chateau, shuffling back the Glass Souffle to our extra deck and the Angeli back to our deck. which procs our chocolate to special summon a Madolche monster from our deck. And we are going to special summon the second Messengelato, and we're going to use Messengelato's effect to add Promenade. Now, if you are running Salon and 2 Promenade, you would normally add Salon here so that you can proc your chocolate, or excuse me, your Glass Souffle, and then set this from your deck with the Salon. However, this build, if you have watched the deck profile or if you haven't, is only on 1 Chateau and 1 Promenade, so that is why we searched this here. This is the only Madolche spell and trap we run are these 2. So we've added Promenade, and then we can take our Messengelatos, overlay them for a second copy of Glass Souffle, and then we will link off the Hoop Cake and the Chocolate to summon Sistart. And if you have like additional Madolches on field because you had more Vernusylphs or anything like that, you will end up having like being able to keep your Hoop Cake, I should say, which is really nice sometimes because he's great follow-up, especially if he was summoned off Angeli. It's really good because then he can't be destroyed by battle, and you end up with like the Hoop Cake like lock with Glass Souffle, making almost an invincible Hoop Cake. But yeah, this is sort of the Madolche combo lets you access a Sistart, a Glass Souffle, a Promenade, and a Chateau. And these cards are absolutely phenomenal because Glass Souffle can recycle anything in your graveyard. And when you make the Sistart, because Madolche monsters went to your grave and you had Glass Souffle, you can put 2 monsters back into your deck. So I'm going to select the Duck and the Hoop Cake, and because you have Chateau, these actually go back to your hand. So we get back exactly what we started with and more, which is phenomenal because Hoop Cake is follow-up. The Duck is insane next turn as well. And then we can set our Promenade to go along with this. So we end with, you know, Fenrir, Glass Souffle, Promenade, which is really good, insane follow-up, but yeah, that's the first hand, and you wish you could like summon Mudora as well there, but unfortunately, unless you could have pitched it instead of the Sphere Mode like I said, and you get Mudora engraved, which is amazing for tier limits, so that's probably what you want to do, but we just opened 2 Sphere Modes, so my gut reaction was just to get rid of one of them. But yeah, it's much better to discard the Mudora there so you have it for your tier limit matchup, and then you have 3 Shufflebacks, another Shuffleback, a Promenade, and a Fenrir. So you have enough to actually stop a lot of what Tier Limits is doing, which is like the best thing about this matchup, is that it's so prepared for tier because Glass Souffle lines up into it really nice. And then you have a Sphere Mode for the Crackback as well. Sphere Mode Duck is a way to start playing again on your next turn. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going through a couple more test hands. Now that I've shown 1 card Madolche combo, like that one Angeli got everything on that board except the Fenrir. And yeah, that is 1 card Madolche combo. You guys really needed to see that if you're unaware, because it is like the most important part of the deck is knowing how to combo with the Madolche cards. So the rest is going to be me showing hands and what to do. Maybe some go second hands. Maybe we'll go through another combo if it's like a funky one. But yeah, we're just going to give the deck another quick shuffle. And yeah, one of the best things about this deck in this current meta, and one thing I was really surprised to not see at the YCS when the deck was on the feature match, was like one of the best things is the fact that it lines up so nicely into tier because of Glass Souffle, and that gives you a better matchup than some decks. But also the Ishizu cards are Earth Fairy, which is huge because they have so much synergy with the Vernusylphs. Gravekeeper's Trap has synergy with your Madolche engine. They fit so nicely. They're also level 4s, which can come up for making like non-Madolche Xyz monsters. Even if you're using Madolche monsters, they have a lot of synergy with their attribute and level. So yeah, I feel like you need to play those because a lot of these hands, like I'm just testing like go first hands and opening, right? But your opponent in tier limits are going to be milling your cards. So if you're able to mill Keldos and Mudora, it is absolutely huge. So yeah, let's give this deck a quick shuffle, a quick cut. Let's see the next hand. Orange Light, which could be phenomenal if we draw like the right sequence of cards. Promenade, you know, one of, so it's not like super amazing. Sphere Mode, Keldo, and Fenrir. So this hand doesn't actually play Madolche stuff, but it's not bad. Like if we go second, especially we have a Prosperity. That's interesting. That was our last 6th card as well. But like, say we're going second because I wanted to show a go second hand, right? So not like this go second hand is actually crazy. So assuming that our hand last turn would have won a game 1 because it was pretty solid. It wasn't crazy. We didn't have like Orange Light with Chateau, but this hand going second is ridiculous. Like on our opponent's turn, if they're on tier limits, right? You can Orange Light discard Keldo, which just feels like an FTK sometimes because you negate one of their cards and then you put a shuffle back in your graveyard, which is phenomenal. This is one of the best things Orange Light can do in your deck is set this up. But even if they go absolutely crazy next turn, you can go for your sphere mode on their field, which is going to crack their board. And then you have Fenrir, which can play even if you sphere mode, which is insane. So these cards are amazing going second. I mean, let's say we give them a sphere mode, we special Fenrir, and we search Fenrir, right? At this point, any board they should have made is gone. In fact, you can also save this in your graveyard and just use the orange light, or not even use any of it, because sometimes sphere mode is enough and you can save this for your turn. But we're going to be able to probably do something interesting with these that I like as well. Say we sphere mode them and we search a Fenrir. That'll be in our hand. So this is already pretty good. We can't actually like out our own sphere mode currently, but having Fenrir and them having a sphere mode after we broke their board is pretty nice. So then we'll activate Prosperity. I like to banish like one Sistart. The Dweller, even though in this situation I'll be playing against Tyr, like I'm just gonna show you what I normally banish off Prosperity. Pretty much I'll save a couple things for the Zeus in my extra deck, so I'll leave like Baguska and Zeus. Where is my other card? So it's not currently in this extra deck because I did a Witchcrafter deck profile, but I'll banish the Alsa as well, and usually like maybe a single one of this or another Glass Souffle, just depending. Something like this is what I'll banish off Prosperity. So there goes 6 cards, and we'll see the top 6 off of our deck. Mudora, that's interesting. Chateau, these are not great so far, but Petting Cessor, Pudding Cess, and Orange Light. So we're definitely going to grab the Petting Cessor 100%, because now, even though we've restricted our normal summon by giving them a sphere mode, we've specialed our Fenrir, and we have monsters engraved, so Petting Cessor might not seem that great. This is in graveyard. But now we can activate our Keldo, and we can shuffle back 2 of their cards, preferably their shuffle backs if they have any, and we can shuffle back our Orange Light. And now all of a sudden we have no monsters engraved for Petting Cessor, so we've locked ourselves out of normal summoning. We summoned a monster that's really insane, so we've had insane go second cards. But now we can special Petting Cessor, which specials Pudding Cess, which is all over again Madolche full combo. So that goes second hand, like we just pretty much FTK'd our opponents. It feels like we opened the perfect go second hand, like the best possible go second hand, except the Promenade. Like we wish that was a starter to start with, or a Vernusylph monster. But yeah, from here you go through the exact same 1-card combo I showed earlier, where you go Glass Souffle, detach the Petting Cessor, make the Chocolate, shuffle back the Petting Cessor, but instead of Chocolate special summoning Hoot Cake in this case, you special summon an Angeli and then tribute that Angeli off for the Hoot Cake. Because again, you need another Madolche monster in your graveyard. I said you need to get 2 in rotation. This one had Petting Cessor, and now we're putting Angeli in there. And now you go for this combo, except instead of going for like the last Glass Souffle, if you think you can OTK, you can try to clear more of their board with Tiramisu, and Tiramisu will actually out your own sphere mode, which is huge, and recycle resources. But because we Prosperity, we won't be OTKing them, so it's best to set up like another Glass Souffle like you're going first. And yeah, that's going to be it for that hand as well. Again, most of these combos are going to funnel into 1-card Madolche combo, because this is a Madolche deck. It's the same combo every single time. The only time it changes if you draw too many Messengelados and no Vernusylphs. But yeah, that was an interesting start, because I actually love when you can use Keldo or Mudora to be like synergy to make Petting Cessor live again. Oh, she's back in the deck. I think okay, she's not there. Yeah, because that's actually one thing of synergy the Ishizu cards actually have so well with Madolche, is the fact that Petting Cessor hates having monsters engraved, and you can easily get rid of them with Mudora or Keldo. Especially like if your opponent mills these, they're just insane anyways. So yeah, very, very powerful cards in this deck. This format, I know a lot of people don't like the Ishizu cards, but you just have to be playing them in this deck, this format, in my opinion, unless you're playing like a very heavy D-shifter build or something more akin to old Madolche rather than new updated Madolche, or like Ishizu Vernusylph Madolche. I think this is like the strongest variant outside of like opening D-shifter and your opponent having no out to it. But problem with D-shifter in my mind is if your opponent does have an out to it, your deck's inherently weaker, because you can't play the Vernusylphs or Ishizu stuff as good, and like you have to open D-shifter, right? But if you're playing the Ishizu stuff, your opponent is going to mill 5 to 10 cards off of your deck. So if you're able to mill the shuffle backs, their turn is not going to be as good as they want it to be, and it means you get benefits off of them milling your deck, and then you can put their shuffle backs back into their deck, which is huge because you want your Vernusylphs to actually do something, and like a lot of cards in your grave need Madolche monsters there. So Your deck doesn't like the shuffle back, so you can use your Mudora and Keldo to get rid of their Mudora and Keldo. So all really nice interactions, and why I think you need to play it with the Ishizu cards. As much as people don't like those cards, especially like rogue players that want to play different decks, I think like Naturia and this deck are the decks that can play it really well. But going into the next test hand here, we're going to open up a Flourishing Hills. I hope this is more of a really nice go first hand with a lot of Vernusylph comboing. That'd be really nice. Sphere Mode again. I mean, this card loves me. And like the tournament I played, this card drawing it game 1 was so clutch. It's such a solid card. 1 Seedling, 1 Petting Cessor, and another Duck. So this is a pretty strong go first hand. We open combo and a bunch of extenders. It's just like figuring out what I want to do with those. And going second, it's also really good. I mean, we have the Sphere Mode, which is pretty much going to shut down an entire board. We draw a Veiler, which isn't amazing. I'd rather this be in my opening hand instead of this Duck, but that's what our go second draw would have been. So now, when I see a hand like this, the thoughts running through my head is if I want to start with my Madolche combo instantly or go with my Vernusylph stuff first. I think we're going to start Vernusylph first, because I might want to make a rank 4 like Dweller to go with my end board. Can I do that in this hand? I believe I can, so I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to activate Flourishing Hills, discarding a Sphere Mode. I mean, I guess we could discard the Duck, but sure, we'll do Sphere Mode. And we're going to add the other Vernusylph monster in our deck to our hand. We're going to add the Awakening Forest, wherever he may be, right here. And then we're going to use Flourishing Hills, special summoning herself right here. Also, if you haven't seen the deck profile, these are now referred to as Cosmo and Wanda because they're both fairies. This one has green hair, this one has purple hair. A lot of you can see the resemblance, but yeah, Cosmo and Wanda. So we're gonna special summon Wanda, and then we're able to use our Awakening Forest, discarding the Duck. And we are going to send from our deck to our graveyard a Mudora, which is super solid. One of the best things about Awakening Forest is the fact that you can just freely dump these as interruptions. It's just another layer of interrupt for your opponent. Like if they have Havness now that they haven't gotten to use yet, we're really able to cut them off with this Mudora and maybe stop them from going too insane on our turn. And then we'll use Awakening Forest to special summon himself because we can't summon the Mudora because we sent it and we need the level 4. So now I'm going to take both level 4 monsters, and we haven't even activated a monster effect on field yet, so they couldn't Havness yet if they wanted, but they'll be able to soon. We'll overlay our Dweller, which is absolutely huge. We can't use its effect right now because we have used Vernusylph monster effects, but on our opponent's turn, Abyss Dweller is going to go absolutely insane because if they're on Tearlaments, I mean, Dweller's shutting them down, and we'll have everything else as well. So lastly, we can use our final Vernusylph, the Duck, discarding the Petting Cessor to add a fairy monster from our deck to our hand. Maybe we get Angeli as follow-up, or we can also get another Vernusylph as follow-up, or we can get Keldo or Mudora, interestingly enough, if I want one of those in hand. We haven't normal summoned, so I'm going to grab Keldo. That's pretty nice. Yeah, again, these being Earth Fairy have such strong synergy. And then we're able, with the Duck, to special the Petting Cessor we discarded. We'll activate the Petting Cessor, and then you guys have seen this before. It is Madolche full combo. We didn't draw any Messengelato, so I'm going to speed run this combo to show you where we're ending. We're just obviously going to go here, into Glass Souffle, detach targeting herself, the Petting Cessor, overlay Chocolate a la mode in the EMZ, shuffle back the Petting Cessor. Again, we've seen this combo multiple times, so just running through it a little quick. We're going to get the Angeli instead of the Hoot Cake, again, because we started with Petting Cessor, so Angeli effect. Tribute herself off to special summon the Hoot Cake, and then we're going to use the Hoot Cake effect whenever I can find them. It's a very large deck. It's only 40 cards, but it's just hard to find. And then we use the Hoot Cake effect, banishing one of the ducks, because we already have a duck. Everything else we might want to recycle at one point. Get the Messengelato, the first Messengelato effect, add Chateau. Activate Chateau to shuffle back the Angeli and the Glass Souffle. Effect of Chocolate, special summon the second Messengelato, who is going to add the Promenade from our deck to our hand. So I'll go ahead and add the Promenade because we're special summoning Messengelato. I hope that didn't confuse anybody, but yes, Messengelato effect, add Promenade. And then from here, we just go, again, very standard, use these to make Glass Souffle. And then we take these and we make the Sistart. And because why am I going through my deck? We make the Sistart, who is in the extra deck and not the main deck. And then because a Madolche monster was sent to our graveyard, we can activate Glass Souffle, and we could add back Sphere Mode to our hand if we wanted to, just in case we need more go second options, but I kind of want starters, so if you think your opponent's going to break your board, you can add back Sphere Mode, but I'm going to add back the Duck and the Hoop Cake as we did previously, because it is really solid, because this is a follow-up like with one starter or an extender with a starter as well, so that's huge. And we did not normal summon this turn. We did all of that with Vernusylph, so now we can just normal summon our Keldo and set our Promenade, put the hand over here, and this is your board, which is absolutely insane. The only thing that makes this better is opening a hand trap, because you can do really nasty things with Glass Souffle plus Orange Light or Valor. I really wish I would have seen one of those hands, because that's when Madolche is truly disgusting, because you're able to just use the same hand trap multiple times because of Glass Souffle and Chateau. But here we have Abyss Dweller, Glass Souffle, Promenade, Chateau, which is going to be a lot of follow-up, and we have Mudora and Keldo. There's just no way for Tearlament to do anything about that. 2 Shufflebacks, one they can't really interact with a Shuffleback because it's on field. Glass Souffle can make this essentially invincible, and then recycle cards. Promenade recycles, you have infinite follow-up here, and of course Dweller. Like, this board is phenomenal into the current format. Against things like other decks, you usually want to open Orange Light to reuse with Glass Souffle. Against Sprite, that's a little bit stronger, and you would hope to see something like that, because if you're not playing against Tier, some of these interrupts are like not amazing seeming, because they're all very graveyard focused outside of Promenade. But yeah, there are ways to do some pretty insane things regardless of your opponent's board, because if you can just survive, you're able to come on the crackback with Tiramisu's and some honestly disgusting OTKs that this deck's always been able to do. But Orange Light, Effect Valor, and Fenrir are really your main outs to things like Sprite and decks that aren't graveyard reliant, so Exo Sister, Fluandereeze, those. Like, obviously Glass Souffle isn't amazing into those decks because that's not really where her gimmick's at. And like, Madolche's efficacy in the format usually based on the decks around it. So in Phantom Knight format, I felt Madolche was very good because Glass Souffle is insane against Phantom Knights. In Tier format, again, I think this is one of the best Madolche's ever been because it lines up so well into the format. So things like that are sort of determining factors on whether or not you want to play this deck. But one of the reasons I think is still the best is the fact that if your opponent knows your deck, you get Ishizu cards. The Ishizu cards are so powerful in this deck, but not oppressive because they're not in Tearlaments. In Tearlaments, they're beyond insane. But let's give this deck another shuffle, maybe the last one. Maybe we'll see this hand and see if it's worth playing out. 2 Flourishing Hills, a Duck. Looks like another pretty big Vernusylph hand where we drew the Promenade. Again, this just leads to 1 card Madolche combo plus like Valor and Promenade. Nothing really to see here. Going second, can we see something? This is a pretty terrible going second hand. We have 1 Effect Valor, which is just not enough in this format. But I guess it's fair because we've drawn Sphere Mode like 3 times in a row before this, so fair enough. We drew a Message Gelato there, but we had Vernusylph. So in the situations where you draw Message Gelato, which is normally very bad, now we could have just used the Duck to search Angeli, do full combo, but instead of summoning the second Message Gelato with Chocolate, we summon it with Flourishing Hills. So it's the exact same combo because the Vernusylphs are they're just insane cards. They're my favorite thing about the deck for sure. Like fun-wise and gameplay-wise. Like, I think the best thing is, again, definitely the Ishizu stuff working really well in the format. But my favorite thing is the Vernusylphs. They bring such an extra layer of dimensionality to Madolche and what they can do, how they extend, and how they even start. So, really glad those cards came out. They're really secret Madolche support. I think Konami knows it too. But yeah, let's give this deck another draw. We have Prosperity, Sphere Mode, so it's really solid, go second hand already. Orange Light, Gravekeeper's Trap. You don't want to open this. This is for Mudora. And the Hoot Cake. So going second, I said it was an amazing hand, but we really are in a weird spot. Let's see. Okay, with Flourishing Hills, this is a great go second hand because we can Sphere Mode them and then we can discard Flourishing Hills and the Hoot Cake, bring back the Hoot Cake, banish the Flourishing Hills, and go full combo, right? So But going first, this is also a solid hand because of Prosperity. We know Prosperity is going to find us a starter, but let's see what Prosperity all would have found us if we banished the 6. I see we're seeing Vernusylphs. Yeah, so we're definitely adding this, and we're just going to go off with full 1-card combo with these 2, which is also still combo. So instead of, you do the same thing, except you jelly out one of the Mess and Gelatos in this combo. So you go for the regular Petting Cessor into Pudding Cess into Chocolate, and then you bring out Jelly, who will summon Mess and Gelato because you already control Hoot Cake, and yeah, then you still full combo. So yeah, that was another hand. We'll probably do one last shuffle here and see a hand. And we drew Orange Light, which means our combo is actually really insane because it means we have double Orange Light on our opponent's turn as well, thanks to Glass Souffle plus Chateau. Yeah, one of the best interactions Madolche have for sure. Such a powerful card, Glass Souffle is. I really think Madolche need one more Xyz monster, either a rank 3, oddly enough, or another rank 4, potentially even rank 5 that does the same thing Chocolate does, but maybe a different board breaker. Tiramisu is a fantastic board breaker, but I feel like they need like another boss monster, because they don't have a boss monster. They have a Glass Souffle and a Sistart, which isn't menacing, especially in a non-graveyard format. So I do think they need like one more card, but let's see this last shuffle here, and then we will end the video off. 1 Sphere Mode. Again, this card has just been solid to us the entire time. I feel like we drew this almost every hand. I love this card. 1 Duck, a Fenrir, a Flourishing Hills, and a Veiler. Honestly, this hand is bonkers, because going second, Fenrir, Sphere Mode, Veiler, that is a lot. In fact, I probably wouldn't even use the Veiler unless they're trying to FTK me, because I just Sphere Mode and use this as a monster for my Vernusylphs next turn. But where this board actually ends up, because you drew full combo with Fenrir and Veiler, your end board is the full Madolche combo plus Fenrir, which is like, it's Promenade plus Fenrir plus Glass Souffle. And I'm pretty sure we'll definitely be able to get Awakening Forest as well and dump Mudora or Keldo, which is phenomenal. And then we'll have 2 effect Veilers on our opponent's turn. So that's really insane. That's like 5 or 6 interrupts, and they're varied interrupts. We have interrupts for the graveyard, we have interrupts for on field, and if we went second, we also have that. Ooh, this is an interesting card as well if we went second, but yeah, that is going to be it for this Madolche combo video, how to play Madolche. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this guys helped you learn how to play the deck if you're trying to learn it, because I feel like the recent YCS and the decks on stream didn't really do it justice, because their builds were either a little weird in my opinion, or they were just playing suboptimally or getting interrupted at every possible turn is another thing. Another engine you can play with this deck is actually the Bestials, because you have a decent amount of flex spot, like for any hand traps you want to run, and the Bestials don't really hurt you, which I like. But yeah, that is going to be it for this combo video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Tell me what you think of Madolche. I think they're the strongest they've ever been, and they fit in the format quite nicely. But yeah, this is going to be it for me, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.